people. It's just, so let's do that. Let's decide in January. Or do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I think that's good for
Yeah.
today.
I do too. And
Gossipy
when we
stuff.
when we come back, I'll work with Kathy between now and our next meeting, and we'll have another proposal drawn up with a different type of schedule. I also would like to visit, maybe possibly, I don't know if your LPNs would want to go into the 12-hour shifts also, and that would put all direct care staff at.
So one of
same
the
shifts.
things that has to happen, right, is
Mhm.
we gotta do it chunk by chunk by
Yeah.
chunk.
Yeah, that
And
would
this
be
gets
good.
really confusing
Mhm.
with the LPNs.
Well, I was just wondering,
Yeah,
because I
'cause
thought.
two of my LPNs are part-time.
Okay.
Oh, they wanna stay part-time, don't they?
They have to.
Mm.
They have to, that's all the
Okay.
FTE we have
Well,
for
we
them.
could have those two for aides, but you know what, those extra LPNs on the shifts would also help with call-offs.
We wouldn't have any extras, we're not gonna be able to make it with the
Mhm.
LPNs that we have, so we're not,
Right.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
because of the FT. So part of this session that goes on during this legislative session, they may skin us, not just us, they may skin DPHHS. If we get hit with an FTE thing, then we're gonna be in tough shape, right? So I'm hoping none of that happens. Last time they were able to preserve facilities, direct us, Warm Springs, the nursing homes. We were the only ones protected. I don't know, it's always an interesting session, and we will not know till the end of April, or, till it ends after 90 days. We
I
won't
know
know
we're
one
not
thing.
at the top of their list, though, we're not the, I mean,
So
Well,
is
the
it
state-
there is a facility that's on the
Boulder's
top,
kind of
yeah.
at the top.
Well,
of
and the state hospital has, because mental health is the top issue right now, and so there's a lot of stuff gonna be talked about with mental health. So what we're always kinda squeezed underneath the state hospital, because I think in legislators' eyes, we're located by it, right? I mean, it's not even more complicated than that. And I already had, anyway, they totally know about us, and the legislative auditor already talked to us. So, we're okay, and they'll be asking questions about us because we're in a new facility. That's all they remember from the last session, is that we were a new facility. They won't pick on us, but they'll pick on DPHHS. If they can keep facilities out of any cuts, then we'll play with the ball game that we have, right, with the number of FTEs. If we're thrown into a different game of cutting FTEs, that's gonna be really difficult. I mean, we are so tight with 3 facilities right now on the FTE side, that the only thing I'd be able to do is hire contractors. I'd have to put them on a contract or something, just to get outside of the FTEs. And then I would probably, they would not be happy with that, right? So we're just gonna kind of move through that. I'll look at this, you keep looking at models. Any other little things we can check off, Kath?
There was a second page to that, so I
Did I see if it's in out of order? Because when I took them off the printer, it just,
one of the concerns that people had was anonymous comments going into personnel files.
so, this is the 360 review.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the concern, I guess? Because
Well-
this is just remember, it's an 80-20 split.
The
If,
concern is that they just don't have any place, anonymous comments.
Some of the
Their
comments that are being
can be
made.
used against them
Mhm.
for disciplinary or
yeah, they
or things
can't.
like that.
Mhm.
That's the issue.
And I don't
Okay.
think that they really fall in the guidelines of what goes in a personnel file.
Well, I'll give you an
I
example.
mean, I'm happy to take them out of your personnel
Okay.
file, but it's really important for you to get them.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think that
yes.
it's important to review them.
Okay.
It is, but not to have it put in your file.
So just so you know how it works in the other world,
Mhm.
okay? This is very standard.
Yeah.
I'm fine with whatever you want to do. This is about learning.
Mhm.
This isn't about retaliation, which somehow seems to be
Mhm.
something that's in the air. But it's not about that. This is about learning. And so a 360 is to help everyone see. Usually what you really see are really good comments,
Mhm.
right? And you're like, oh, cool. And then in theory, if there was an employee who had a lot of bad comments, and you as the employee and you as your supervisor did not see that, you would just write on that, seems out of bounds, and you would both sign that on that, and it goes into the file
Okay.
like that. The second is, if it's true,
Mhm.
this person is mean, whatever, right? I think that person's mean, or whatever they're putting in there, right? And it's true, then you and your supervisor would have already put an action plan together on that.
Mhm.
So you would never, so any comments that are on here, it has to be the majority, right? And if it's the majority, like, you know, everyone who signed said, don't trust her, you know, she's mean to me, whatever they say. All right, then that would have to be in an action plan that you and your supervisor already agreed to. So it would never go in by itself, is what I'm saying. So it's not like a thing by itself.
I think that was the concern, because when we all received our evaluations, I don't know all of us, but myself, I was shown the 360, and I was happy with it, you know. But there was one comment that was put in there, and then I was a little concerned, you know, that this was gonna go into my personnel file.
So
You
Rick,
know,
if you, I mean, I'm happy for
Sure.
you guys to pull them out if you want, but all you'd have to do on that is say, Doug, I wanna write on here and make a
Okay.
comment about it.
And we,
This has
I
no
think it'd be more
statistics
appropriate
about
for
it.
it to not be in, I don't think anonymous comments have any place in a personnel file, I just don't. And Tim was in agreement with me on that.
That's fine. I mean, I don't have any problem,
I
we'll just pull
personally
it
didn't
out.
have any-
You got copy, everyone got a copy, right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
to
I think
help
it's a
you.
good tool.
Oh, I
kind of
love
look, review, maybe
Mhm.
what the overview is. I think it's a good tool, but I just don't think it belongs in a personnel file.
Happy to take it
and I
out.
would like to still see them, I'd like to keep the 360s.
Well,
I
maybe
like
just
them.
put 'em- I don't
you
know,
know,
maybe
but
you
just-
have to put them in a different spot.
And also.
Well, you receive them, that's what's
Yeah.
Right, you get a
important.
copy.
It's
And if
fine.
it
Right,
rises
right.
to the
We all
level
got
of
a
something
copy. Yeah.
your
You're
supervisor
putting your
wants
action
to
plan
deal with.
together
Yeah.
anyway,
Right,
Uh-huh.
right? So, we're fine doing
Mhm.
that. I mean,
Okay.
that's not.
Sure.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
I
but I
think-
do want you to also know, like, that's what you could have, you can do that
Oh.
anyway and say, I want to
And-
write on that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well,
So-
I think we wrote on mine.
yeah, we did, and we did on, I sat in on some folks' and made sure that.
I don't think that mine really required anything writing on it. Cause the one comment that I thought was kinda negative was true. It was. I mean, I'll admit.
Well, that's why you're always looking
Yeah.
at 80-20 split.
Yeah.
So if I'm filling it out on somebody and I'm mad at them that day
Yeah.
just because they stepped on my toe,
Yeah.
but I really like them, I might, that's why
Yeah.
it's just,
So-
what you're trying to do is make sure that you're, as a supervisor who cannot watch their people all the time, that if something big is happening, that it gets reflected and then you go,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, we're gonna
Mhm.
have to have another discussion. The rest of, there's always people who do petty comments, right? But most of the people, I've looked at everyone's who's come, I've looked at everyone. There's about 2 that aren't done yet, but I've looked at everyone's, and everyone has like these really good comments, and I think that's the benefit.
Yeah.
For people to see that other people will put that down. I mean, a lot of people don't see that. But I'm happy to take them out.
Yeah.
Anything else quick, Kath?
Let's see, quick.
Well, some of them weren't like this.
So the, section, Article 3, Section 4, points, notice for jobs being posted, point system for an interview process. And there, in the contract and past practice is for jobs within this union to be given internal opportunity prior to the external. And that hasn't been happening. And I know we have.
So
the
what does that mean?
It means that, for example, with
That they see it first?
that they have the opportunity, any qualified applicant internally would be given an opportunity to apply for
First,
jobs
right?
before
It's
it goes
posted
external.
within, not
Yeah.
on
An
the it's
internal
posted
bid.
within
Right.
for
7
7
days.
days
That's,
before it goes outside.
that's for same positions.
No, that's
That's
for
not
every
for,
job in
That's
this
for
union.
all union positions.
It's every job in this union. It's in the
Yeah,
contract.
So,
where is that? 'Cause
yeah,
I
help
haven't
us,
been
Kathy, because we
familiar
did,
with that.
so this is what was confusing me on this, and if it takes more time, we can
Yeah, we
postpone
can,
it.
it probably will.
Okay, just because,
But at least we can reference back.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
and
could
let's
do a
bring
few
those,
addendums.
yes,
But they were
'cause
just
that-
temporary, just for those certain.
That
Okay.
was just for the
issues is what it
TT,
was.
just to get those filled.
To
This
expedite
is
it.
Because there
totally
were
a
so many
separate
positions.
issue.
okay,
It's a totally separate thing than
Okay.
that. And it's just to give, it's
it's
to help
internal posting,
retain and recruit quality people, because there's not a lot of room for advancement here.
right,
And this offers that to a person who's already employed here, the opportunity to advance into another position, if they're qualified. I mean, they would have to meet the qualifications.
right, so let me just walk it down to make sure I'm tracking it. So one, that means it's posted internally.
Mhm.
2, Are you saying that they interview before anyone or something,
If
or
they're
what are you saying?
qualified.
If they're qualified, they'd go to the interview first,
Mhm.
right? And then,
If a qualified person is available internally, it should never have to go external.
well, a couple things happen, right? So depending on what the position is, if they're qualified on paper, so the whole interviewing process at the state, and it is a point system and it's all put in the thing, is that you have to, if you can qualify on paper, but then you also have to pass the interview. So if you're on paper, you don't automatically get the job, you still have to go through the interview
Right,
process.
if they're qualified and,
Right, so if in the interview process, though, they don't meet the standard, then they just stay in that pool until everyone else is interviewed and they get ranked in there.
sure, that sounds
Okay, I'm
fair.
just
And-
double checking,
The
because that's how
union
I'm,
needs to be given the point process, and then the person has to be notified as to why they weren't.
and so this is what I'm finding out today, and I'm happy to do that. So the way I've been taught to notify is it's just so I need to know if it's a separate notification, because we notify everyone once I'm a week late on one job because of not having someone here to help me do it. You do it in the computer system. Are you saying that because they're internal, they need to be notified differently?
I don't think there's any specifics on how they're notified, just as long as they are notified,
Okay,
rather than just coming to work and seeing like, oh,
Right.
somebody else has that job, I
Right.
guess I didn't get it.
yeah, that was a tough one,
Yeah.
yeah. I totally understand that. That was totally my fault, and that was totally me not getting that out in the system the right way. But just so I'm sure, I mean, I'm happy to do something different for internal candidates as well.
But then if that
I'm usually
person
better
wants
than
to
this.
know why, then they can ask
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I usually am better than this, I just didn't, on this one, it was anyway, I didn't get there, so,
So I'm, very happy, I think we're just working through some housekeeping things that have gone by the wayside, and
so let's just do the agenda thing for next time, because in this charter, so we have the charter that we'll look at, in the charter, it talks about a 2-week, so there's a whole nother process in this charter that's a little bit different than what we say in the contract,
okay.
time-wise. So we'll figure that out, but let's just do it for ourselves right now.
Okay.
Let's say, can we have the meeting in January? I have some other stuff early January. We have the QA meeting on the 14th. Our Thursday, if Cass is coming, I'm happy to make it work for you, Cass, in the morning, if that's good for you guys.
Or what time do they go to group?
10:30, I mean, 9:45, so 10 o'clock would be a good time.
10, that's still keeping her up long.
Well, that's all right, though.
Well, I mean, it's up to you guys to decide that. What I'm thinking, Kathy, more in the month, I guess, is the week, the 15th, 16th, or the 22nd, 23rd, something in there. What does that look like to you all?
Thursdays and Fridays are good for me, both days.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
What, is your Friday pretty packed, Kathy, usually because of stuff?
Yeah.
You want to try Thursday, or what do you think?
Yeah, Fridays are pretty packed for me.
Shall we try the 22nd? Or what works for you guys?
That works.
And then do you wanna, so let's say that we'll look at the agenda by somewhere around the 12th,
Okay,
and that, right now, we know on the agenda, we have, this charter, and we have the other odds and ends still left. We can just pull those forward. Anything new, and we'll do an update on the 12 hours. And then any other things that come up.
all right, and then we'll do an email circle
Start that,
on
and
the
then,
agenda.
so Kath, or if we wanna decide right now what time that would be, just so we can get it to Tim and Ellen.
Is 10 a.m. good for you?
That works.
Yeah, are we shooting for the 22nd, Kath?
Yeah.
Thursday at 10, okay. You want, I'll ship this to Alan and Tim right now, just so they both get it on their schedule. Then I'll get this downloaded, and I'll give you that. And then we'll have her work on getting us a printed copy, but I'll get you a copy with it on
Sounds
today.
great.
Okay,
Anything else?
not from
All
me.
right, thank you. Good
Thanks.
job, everybody.